So this sounds pretty serious as well. Um, this pretty much is going hand in hand with what I was saying in the previous video. So this is following thereafter it, and I believe that I would consider this to be pretty serious. So even though they have it on the news, they have it on the news as something really mild, but I believe it's a lot more involved. North Korea warns of nuclear showdown and calls Pence a political dummy. So North Korea warns of a nuclear showdown. I just left that portion in there. I didn't want to put the other thing in there. This is coming out of CNN Politics, and it's written by a Joshua Berlinger. And it doesn't look like this is getting any better. And, you know, there's a lot that has been going on even before they decided to want to have these talks, and there was a lot of heated discussion. And just my opinion, I don't think it's a safe situation to go over there and meddle with those people. But that's me. So, CNN, a North Korean official has lashed out at the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and said Pyongyang is ready for a nuclear showdown if dialogue with the United States fails. So that does not sound good at all. So now, correct me if I'm wrong, the names are, North Korean are Korean names, so I may not be pronouncing them correctly. Cho Sun-hu, a vice minister in North Korea Foreign Ministry, said that if U.S. continued on its current path, she would suggest to the North Korea's leadership that they reconsider the planned summit between President Donald Trump and the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Whether the U.S. will meet us at a meeting room or encounter us at a nuclear showdown is entirely dependent upon the decision and behavior of the United States, Cho said in comments carried by North Korea's state-run KCNA news agency Thursday. Cho was responding to comments by Pence made during a Fox News interview that she deemed unbridled and impudent. North Korea is known for its fiery rhetoric, but these latest comments are particularly noteworthy because they come directly from a high-ranking official and so close to the summit when they want to have this meeting, that is, which is scheduled for June 12th in Singapore. I believe it's a bad idea. Judging from what I'm hearing and what happened even in the previous article, I say something big is going to happen out of this if they do go ahead with it, and it ain't going to be good. It doesn't seem like it. But I'm just saying, it's not sounding good. That's what I'm saying. It's clear that the North Koreans feel the White House doesn't get it. They don't sound too enthused to have a meeting from the way this is going, said Jean Lee, the director of Hyundai Motor Korea Foundation Center for Korean History and Public Policy at the Wilson Center. Political dummy. Cho took particular issue with Pence's remark about the U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton, who said the U.S. would look to negotiations with Libya during the early 2000s when dealing with North Korea. There was some talk about the Libya model. Pence told Fox News' Martha McCallum, as the president made clear, this will only end like the Libya model ended if Kim Jong-un doesn't make a deal. That sounds like a threat. The way it sounds, it's like you don't have any other choice. This is the ultimatum we give you, you do it, and this is what happens. This is how we respond if you don't do it. That's the way it sounds. When McCallum said that some people may have seen Bolton's comments as exactly as a threat, Pence said, I think it's more of a fact. A fact? Hmm. North Korea has long cited Libya's case as the reason it needs nuclear weapons. Less than a decade after Muammar Gaddafi agreed to abandon its nuclear aspirations in a deal with the United States, he was ousted from power and killed with the help of NATO backed forces. They, the North Koreans, rather, are very proud. They don't like being bullied. Exactly. And they certainly don't like the repeated references to Libya, and the repeated references are reference to its poverty, Lee said. Cho called Pence a political dummy for comparing Libya to North Korea. So she said that Libya's nuclear program was in its early stages when it came to the negotiating table, while North Korea has spent years developing its nuclear weapons. As a person involved in U.S. affairs, I cannot suppress my surprise at such ignorant and stupid remarks gushing out of the mouth of the U.S. Vice President, she said. Pence has been a vocal critic of North Korea and its human rights abuses. While representing the U.S. or the United States at the Winter Olympics in South Korea earlier this year, he brought along the father of Otto Warmbier, an American university student who was in prison in North Korea and died shortly thereafter his return to the United States in a vegetative state. At the opening ceremony, he chose to ignore Kim Jong-un's sister, when sitting feet away from her. And analysts believe that Cho, a diplomat who focuses on the U.S. North Korea relations, is a rising star in North Korea's foreign ministry. She was reportedly promoted to vice minister earlier this year. Summit preparations underway. Trump and Kim Jong-un summit will be the first meeting between a sitting U.S. president and North Korean leader, but the North Koreans have expressed displeasure over recent comments by the United States and joint military exercises between Washington and Seoul. Trump said Tuesday that the meeting could be delayed, but both sides appear to be moving ahead with the planning process. Top White House officials are expected to travel to Singapore this weekend to work with the North Koreans on logistical and agenda items, speaking alongside his Chinese and Japanese counterparts in Washington. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told reporters he's hopeful about the prospects. I hope that we can have this opportunity, this historic opportunity to do something that would truly transform this global challenge that's been threatening the world for an awfully long time, he said. But a senior administrative official involved in the planning process told CNN that Trump's team wants more high-level talks with Pyongyang before the summit. Those comments come as the Pentagon made public a study on 2017's military and security developments in North Korea. The current version of the study, which is produced due to a congressional mandate, and it was completed before Trump agreed to meet with Kim. And so, every now and then they'll flash over the news about these talks, but I believe they need to be careful because they pretty much state their displeasure with U.S. officials. And from the previous article that I was looking at about the brain problems that some US officials have had when they went to Cuba and they went to China. You know, I don't know if I'm the only one that remembers this, but isn't this the same guy that he was calling Rocket Man not too long ago? He actually had called Kim Jong Un Rocket Man. And he also went ahead to say that he wanted to send a nosebleed as a warning. And this was in previous articles, of course. This is many weeks ago. This was like when they were addressing all these tests of missiles. And so this just does not really feel like a comfortable meeting. I'm just going to say that. So I don't know. Maybe that it's an effort to try to squash things so that there can be some peace. But it wasn't peaceful in the beginning, and it doesn't sound like it's that much peaceful now. Not from the way that they are expressing their displeasure. And they simply stated that Pence in this article, you see it for yourself. That doesn't, something like that would make me feel comfortable about meeting with someone after they call you this. So, and doesn't make you feel, if you're smart, you wouldn't feel like safe that this is going to work out unless, you know, maybe they're having some talks with some other people that can mediate the conversation, of course, I'm sure. Um, but I would suggest maybe they be on high alert. It doesn't sound good. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. It's another one to ponder on. Could only wonder where this one is going to go. Thanks for listening.